Hi guys, so I'm back with you for like a quick video, or at least I'm thinking it's gonna be quick, might not be, not so sure. So here's the deal. This is my X-H2S. Um, Loving this camera except for the autofocus issues. We'll see what Fuji will do with the next firmware update in which they promised us improvements. But anyway, yeah. So I had this camera for like 1 year plus now. I really like it, but with this Black Friday, I saw a great opportunity to grab a camera that I also really kind of wanted, and I'll show it to you right now. So let me get the X-H2S out of the way, put it here, and ta-da! It's the X-T5. I'm going to show it to you in just 1 sec, but let me give you like a small backstory. Before I had the X-H2S, I had the X-T4, the XS10, and then same like kind of Black Friday deal. I saw an X-H2S for a really good price. I bought it thinking that I wouldn't like it, wouldn't use it. I didn't agree with the CF Express bit, but nonetheless, I got it. And then I needed money. And I thought to myself, okay, I have three cameras. Which ones am I gonna sell? Although I did like my XT4 more than the XH2S, I decided to sell the XT4 and the XS10 because they were inferior cameras spec wise. So I ended up with the XH2S, although it was my least favorite of the bunch. But because I sold the other two cameras, now I was forced to use this camera, and I found out after using it for a little bit that it's actually an extraordinary camera. It's not perfect, of course, but I have grown to like it more than the X-T4 and the XS10. But I had this nostalgia in mind, right? I had this nostalgia left by the X-T4, and the X-T5 seemed like the next best thing to get and see if it meets my expectations. So let me show it to you. The X-T5 with the Viltrox 13mm f1.4. Now, why am I making this video? I'm going to show you, because this is a comparison. This is a comparison video of the X-H2S versus the X-T5 and also versus the X-T4. Here's the deal. I wanted the X-T5 mainly for two reasons. One, it's a smaller camera, it's a lighter camera, and number two, it has this like flip out screen, which I really love the idea of, because it's really easy for like street photography and that kind of jazz. But now that I got it, I am really disappointed. And I'm not just disappointed because I'm comparing it to the X-H2S, which is a more expensive camera with more features and stuff like that. It's not because of that. I'm disappointed by it even comparing it to the X-T4. It is just such a cheap feeling camera, and I have heard of the cheapness factor on how it feels from other YouTubers, and I did believe them. I mean, I didn't doubt that they were telling the truth, but now that I have experienced it for myself, I can like vouch for that. It it feels incredibly cheap. While the XT4, when I was moving these dials, had like a lot of like clank to it, a lot of snap. These new dials, they feel so cheap, they feel so plasticky. The feedback is so low, so small, so insignificant. It doesn't like give you a lot of feedback when you're changing these things. When you're locking it down, has some play to it. Um, for instance, when I lock down the XH2S, it doesn't have that much play into it. and also the dial feels so much beefier compared to the X-T5. Same for the ISO dial, feels plasticky, feels cheap. It's like a cheap toy. Really disappointed. It's even smaller now than the X-T4, like not as long, which makes things a lot more cramped. So like changing the from single to continuous low to continuous high is a bit harder now. Changing from movie mode to stills mode, it's a tiny bit harder now. Yeah, the Viltrax 14, this is the lightest lens I have. It's like 400 grams or something like that. I have the Viltrax 27 1.2. This is like 600 plus grams. Guess, and also the X-H2S is a heavier camera than the X-T5. So guess which one is more comfortable to hold. I think you can guess it. The X-H2S, because of this grip, even though the camera is heavier, even though the lens is heavier, it's so much easier to hold. Whereas this combination where the camera is lighter and the lens is also lighter, this is initially it is comfortable, but it gets like my hands get sweaty in this spot right here. At this spot right here, they get like sweaty like in 5 minutes or something like that. Whereas with the X-H2S, I can basically hold this camera like all day, no problem, even though it's heavier. Yeah, I'm going to resell this. I cannot keep it. I would, if I had like unlimited money, I would keep it just because, it is nice in its own way. Even though, in my personal opinion, when it comes to build quality, when it comes to the feel of the camera, it is an actual downgrade from the X-T4 and no doubt from the X-T3. And Fujifilm has put us in such a weird situation where the X-T3 has the flip out screen like the X-T5, but it doesn't have the IBIS and it doesn't have the big battery of the X-T4. And the X-T4 has the IBIS and the big battery, but it has like the swivel screen like the X-H2S, so it's not really like a photographic centered camera. And then you have the X-T5, which has all the features minus the build quality. I am so disappointed. The X-T5, in my opinion, this is Fujifilm's worst camera. I said it. I mean, for a little bit more money, you can get the X-H2, and it has the same build quality as the X-H2S. Same sensor, bigger buffer, better build quality. Yeah, as I said, if I had infinite money, I would keep it, but because it's the way it is, I'm going to sell it. I was kind of debating before this arrived. I was kind of debating which one am I going to keep. Like, am I going to keep the X-T5 and sell the X-H2S for a profit, or keep the X-H2S and get rid of the X-T5? And I was like weighing the fact that this is double SD, this is CF Express and SD, and I have a 2 terabyte CF Express in this, which basically gives me unlimited memory. I never have to worry about memory space ever again. With this one, even though the camera is more compact, let's just say that you're going that route of the compact camera. Let's say you put some f2 primes in here, which are really small and light, and let's say that you do that, you still have to carry like, this is not, this is just for user imagination, this is supposed to be one of those carrying cases for SD cards. So you still have to carry an extra bit with you, and it's definitely larger than this. You still have to carry an extra bit with you to carry all the extra SD cards. And I don't know if you noticed this, but SD cards that go past 256 gigabytes get really expensive really fast. where CF Express cards that have big capacity are actually much cheaper in comparison. And yeah, there's a lot of downsides in me keeping this and selling this, even though I would make a profit by selling my XH2S now. So yeah, I'm gonna keep my XH2S. I have gotten used to it. I have grown to love it. I love the ergonomics. I love the build quality. The fact that it's a stacked sensor. The fact that it has a CF Express, practically unlimited memory. Although this has a cool design, it definitely disappoints when it comes to build quality. If the build quality was on point with the X-T5, I would consider keeping it, although it's a downgrade, but it doesn't even have that. So I cannot even motivate myself in saying, okay, I'm going to keep this inferior camera, but it's going to give me that user experience, that tactile experience. It's not giving it to me. It is too cheaply made. Yeah, that's my opinion on that. Love to hear you guys in the comments bashing me. Anyway, tell me what you think, and I'll catch you guys next time.